Live from our new league headquarters in Tampa Bay, Florida, it's the Jacked Up Fantasy Football League Recap Show. Here is the host, the commissioner of the Jacked Up Fantasy Football League, Val Dragotinovic. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to Season 7 of the Jacked Up Fantasy Football League. It's Week 1 Recap Show. I am joined via the Subway Fresh Take Hotline by a special guest, and before I announce him, I have a little theme intro song for today's guest. Joining us live from Denver, Colorado, it's the owner of the Eliminators, Randy Aritz. How you doing, Randy?
Great, Commissioner. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us for our Week 1 recap show. This is a new theme. We're going to try to have a different owner on every single week to help me recap these shows, try to make it a little bit more fun. We're joined, again, we're here at the new league headquarters in Tampa Bay, Florida. We moved over to the off-season from Jacksonville to Tampa. And I will tell you, it's been a long off-season, my friend, because when you finish dead last and second to last in the league, you can't wait for the season to start.
I would agree with you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Better looking forward to the new year.
Absolutely. So, you can't see this, and you probably won't see this until we actually post this on our site, but I have a quick little bio here of the Eliminators, so the rest of the owners that have never met you before kind of get a feel for how long you've been in the league and what you've been doing. So I'm just going to read this off. This is your 6th year in the league, and correct me if I'm wrong, Randy. 6th year in the league. Your best finish was runner-up in 2008. You have a career record of 40-32, which is a winning percentage of .555. Your favorite football team is the Steelers, of course, if you guys couldn't guess that from the intro song. We got to talk about your favorite beer, man. New Belgium Skinny Dip?
This is correct.
What the hell is that?
It is a seasonal ale that is brewed right here in Colorado, and it is only out normally on the summer. Great beer.
Okay. And your favorite shot is Cruisin' Single Barrel Rum? I mean,
That's right.
Can you get any more complicated?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Val?
I said, you're kind of complicated there with your shots and your beers.
We are. We've got to be complicated. We've got to do it right. We've got to go today. That's what I do.
And besides your hobbies, besides fantasy football as your hobby, you like to camp, you like skiing, hiking, racquetball. If I missed anything else, you can add to
You got it.
to your favorite hobbies there.
Yep, spending time with the kids.
Awesome. Well, let's get into the recap. And I'm going to start off with the Playmakers and Simply Perfect. I had the honor to open the season against the defending champ, Boban, who, he changed his name in the championship game. We all know him as the Farmer's Tan, but he changed his name to Simply Perfect. So I guess for just at least another week, Randy, he's perfect, but I think that's going to change this week when he matches up against TNT. But the difference in this game, no doubt, was the quarterback play of Tony Romo versus Aaron Rodgers. Romo had a great game against the defending champs, the Giants, and that was pretty much the difference. A very close game. In fact, you pointed this out, Randy, to me over the weekend. 4 out of the 6 games ended and close. There were close games. 7 points or less was the difference in 4 of the 6 games.
Extremely close for week 1. Very, very competitive.
Anything that jumps out at you at the game here between Boban and I, other than the quarterback play?
I think, nice pickup for you, Valley D, with the Morris pick. You took him late, and he came through for you. Unfortunately, the rest of your team didn't quite pull their weight.
Yep.
So that's the main thing that I see in this matchup.
I agree. Actually, he was a 10th round pick, and I put him in the lineup like 5 minutes to 1 on Sunday, so got a little lucky there. The next matchup here is Archon Tigers against TNT, and this was a very strange game. Strange because I got a text message from both owners. One thinking that, there's a late game, obviously. This came down to the late Monday night game, the Chargers and the Raiders. Archon Tigers had the kicker for the Chargers, Nate Kading, and TNT had McFadden. They both went to sleep. Archon Tigers thinking they lost, and TNT thinking they won. And they both wake up, they send me text messages, shocked, that the opposite happened. Who would have thought that, in the second half of that game, Darren McFadden would have -5 rushing yards, and Nate Caden kicks 5 field goals. And Zach comes, it's kind of a very, very lucky miracle win by 2 points. What are your thoughts on that one?
I even go back to the game in Pittsburgh where Ben Roethlisberger throws the interception. And I believe that, correct me if I'm wrong, the interceptions are a -2.
Yes.
There you go. There's a tie if Ben doesn't throw that interception. Very close game. Zach's going to be extremely happy with his kicker scoring in 20 points because the rest of his team, besides Breeze, really didn't show up.
Well, for his first text that he was like, "Wow, I can't believe I won." His second was, "I'm awesome because I know how to draft. I pick good kickers." Like he knew he was going to have 5 field goals.
I think Zach may come back next year and draft that kicker in maybe the 6th round. Maybe that'll have that kind of impact on him for next year, maybe.
Well, I will tell you that Zach won't admit this to the rest of the league, but I know he knows he had a bad draft. I'm not impressed with his team, and I think he's the worst team in my division.
He's got some opportunity at the running back position.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think you can start to feel it. And Redmond, who knows when either Dwyer or Mendenhall will be back. So he's got them both, Redmond and Dwyer. So
yeah, but I know you're being biased here because you're a Steelers fan, but these are not guys that's going to scare any other fantasy football owners. The second and third running back for the Steelers. Doug Martin was a reach, and I think having the starter of Doug Martin, rookie, and Peyton Hillis, who splits carries, not exactly something that's going to scare the rest of the owners. So
definitely some opportunity there, and with Julio Jones stepping out, you can have to hope that Roddy White doesn't become kind of more of a second nature.
Well, he already is. I think he's the second best receiver in that team. I said it at draft day. All right, we're moving on to your game, actually. The Bulldogs and the Eliminators. Obviously, you know what happened there. The difference in the game here was, no doubt, the little 5-yard screen pass from Manning to Thomas that goes for, about 70 yards?
71 yards.
And, the second thing that went against you was Fred Jackson getting injured. C.J. Spiller comes in and has a great game. And you lose by 4, but you look at those 2 plays, and that was no doubt the difference in the game. But still, a very entertaining game between you and your neighbor. And I understand that you and him were actually at the Pittsburgh-Denver game. He's, of course, a Broncos fan. You're, of course, a Steelers fan. So you were actually there watching it live when he actually beat you in fantasy football, and he beat you, as far as his team winning against the Steelers.
Absolutely, he was there. Got very, very lucky.
You had to have known that play is going to cost you.
Oh yeah, huge play.
Yeah.
That play alone was probably 13 points or more. That was probably like 60 points.
It's 7 and 12, 19 points.
19 points.
19 point play. And again, it was like I don't even think it was a 5-yard pass. So, but I will tell you that Matt Ryan looked really good. I was surprised he lasted to the 3rd round. I think he's going to have a better year than Matthew Stafford and Cam Newton. So I'm really shocked that he drops. I think that is a great, great pickup in the 3rd round. I think next year he goes in the top 15 pick. So
I would disagree.
Good call there. And then, you're the first player that has a guy that's going to be injured for 3 to 4 weeks. So you're the first guy that's going to be able to use the IR spot, if you haven't already done that, where you can move Fred Jackson to the IR, you don't have to drop anybody, and still pick up another player. So.
Yep, and I've done that.
Okay. So this is like, living proof that the IR spot, I think, is going to be a good thing.
I agree.
So, any other comments? Any other, whether directed towards the Bulldogs or in general?
We had a tough first game. Bulldogs are a division rival. It's always a big game. Play the Bulldogs. You know, unfortunately, had things happen, but we're basically week 1, got a lot of season left. We'll be looking forward to the rematch, and the team will come ready to play the Bulldogs.
Okay. Well, this is being recorded, so of course you'll see this many times again. In the last of the 4 close games, the Primetimers beat the Serb Destroyers 83-78. Ugly game. You got 2 players on Jake's team that score a combined 1 point. You know, I know hindsight's 2020, and there's no way you could predict C.J. Spiller was going to have the type of game he had, because if it wasn't for Fred Jackson's injury, your boy, he probably wouldn't have gotten that many rushing yards. But I'm not impressed with his team. I think Victor Cruz was a one-year wonder. I think Eli Manning's going to regress this year. And I know he was excited, Jake the Snake was, when he actually picked up that duo, Manning and Cruz. But let me tell you, man, this is not going back to 2007. This is not Tom Brady, Randy Moss type connection here.
I think Jake's got enough to climb once again.
He definitely does. And, you know, I mean, Ryan's feeling good because he beat probably one of the worst teams in his division, one of the worst teams in the league. You know, just like his FSU Noles beat up Savannah State by, I don't know, 60, 70 points, and they got called in the 3rd quarter. So I don't think Ryan's got a great team either. I think LaShawn McCoy is the only good player on his team. So ugly game. This is probably the ugliest game of the week, if you agree.
I do agree. Also, probably it is the lowest scoring game.
Yeah.
Fine scores. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very ugly. I mean, Zoli scored almost as many points as the 2 teams combined. So the next game we're going to talk about the Cleveland Crushers and the High Flyers. The Cleveland Crushers win, you know, nice impressive win there, 129-108. The high scorer for Brian was Joe Flacco. For the High Flyers, it was David Akers. When your kicker's your highest scoring player of the week, you know, it's going to be tough to win. But thanks to that 63-yard NFL record-tying field goal, he gets that extra bonus points. But looking at Brian's team, I mean, I will tell you, I was following the scores in the first quarter of the 1 o'clock games. Brian had like 50 points because he had Garcon, he had Ridley, he had Julio Jones, who scored 2 touchdowns. I mean, everyone was having big plays. And of course, he just capped it off with Joe Flacco. It was a close game going into Monday night, but we all knew that Michael didn't really have a chance. So, any thoughts or comments?
I think Brian maybe have a couple of sleepers. I kind of looked over Stephen Riley and Ridley, and you know, Flacco. Could be the year for Flacco. Brian could have a good year. He's got some players that are really stepping up for him.
Yeah,
Flacco at his bench, he's got Macklin, Brown. Brown on the bench.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, in the first half of the 1 o'clock games, like all his players scored. Even his bench players were going off. So I think Flacco's going to be. It's going to be like Matt Ryan. This is the year he takes it to the next level. I don't think he's as good as Matt Ryan. I don't think he has the weapons that Matt Ryan has. But I think the Crushers are going to definitely be favorites in your division to win that division. So.
You reckon with early on.
Yep. And last but certainly not least, TCB. This is a surprise victory here. Not that he beat the Frosty Paws, because the Frosty Paws, who, by the way, you know, for those of you that haven't been following Andy changing his names, he was the new sheriff last year. Frosty Paws was his original name when he joined the league, and I think he's trying to change his luck or whatever. Who cares? The bottom line is you can call your team name whatever you want, Andy. Your team still sucks. It always sucks every year. You suck at drafting. You suck at picking up players through the free agent waiver wire. He drops the Ravens defense. I mean, okay, you got the
Thank you, by the way, I picked him up.
Oh, you picked him up? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Randy's thanking you. But the surprise to me here is that TCB scores 151 points. The reason why it's in red is always the highest scorer each week will get recognized. So TCB was the highest scoring team this week. But, you know, just steady all across, Randy. I mean, with the exception of Blackman, you know, everybody had double digits. I mean, of course, the Jets defense goes off. has 2 long interception returns for touchdowns, 44 points. But I will tell you, I told Zoli this today when I talked to him. He's actually in Cleveland. He went to the Browns-Eagles game. This is the highest scoring week for TCB all year. I think he peaked in week 1. Agree or disagree?
He's got some players there, but I don't think he's going to be scoring that high the rest of the year. I agree with that.
Mark my words, 151, Zoli. This is your highest scoring week all season. I think he had a bad draft, and I definitely think that he kind of comes back down to earth in week 2. So let's look at the matchups, Randy, real quick for next week. We got Frosty Paws and the Serb Destroyers. I mean, it's too soon to start analyzing and predicting games here, but I like the Frosty Paws to beat the Serb Destroyers. TCB and the Prime Timers. I think the Prime Timers beat TCB. Prime Timers start the season 2-0, and again, TCB comes down to earth. Cleveland Crushers and Bulldogs. I think Brian crushes the Bulldogs. A little play on words there. I don't think the Bulldogs are that good. I know he's your neighbor and good buddy, but the Bulldogs team is not that impressive to me. So I think Cleveland, the Crushers, beat these guys by about 20 points. The High Flyers and the Eliminators. Any comments on this game since this is you and Michael?
Well, we're going to rebound, talk to the team, regroup, and we're coming strong to the High Flyers.
Okay. All right.
We're ready to play.
Okay. Playmakers and Archon Tigers. I beat Zach in our other fantasy league last week, and I intend to do it again. It was a blowout. It was an easy 30-point victory. I plan on doing it again, Randy. Anytime you play your division rivals, teams that you absolutely hate, I think this is going to be a bad year for Zach. I don't even think he finishes 500. And here's my chance to get my first victory this year. Last but not least, TNT and Simply Perfect. This is, of course, the rematch of the 2011 championship game. I like TNT. I think he had some bad luck in week 1. Not because I'm the godfather to his newborn daughter, but I think Simply Perfect will change his name after that, because you can't call yourself perfect once you lose, right?
Good point.
So he's going to have to go back to his good old hillbilly name, Farmer's Tan, whatever the hell it was called. But I think TNT comes back, and I think everyone in this division will be 1-1. As always, it's always the toughest division in fantasy football each year. So, well, that's all I got, man. I appreciate you joining me today, and again, we're going to try to have different owners on every single week for these recap shows, whether it's live or via the Subway Fresh Take hotline like tonight. We have the owner of the Eliminators, Randy Eritz, joining us from Denver, Colorado. Randy, good luck the rest of the season, and hope to have you on as a guest again before the season ends.
Good luck to you, Commissioner. Good luck, guys, team. It's enjoyable playing you guys this year. Should be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, we're signing off. Good luck to everyone next week, except for, of course, the Archon Tigers. Peace out.